What happens when a billionaire learns that all his money can't fix the one thing his son truly needs? Gregory Beckford didn't want to be seen that night, not by cameras, not by clients, not even by the valet who opened the car door with a grin too big for someone making $12 an hour. Gregory gave him a quick nod and got out of his black Audi quietly. His son, Evan, was already on the curb, staring at the sidewalk like it might give him answers. Gregory thought about saying something, then stopped himself. What was he going to say? Happy birthday, buddy? Ready for some fried catfish and cornbread? Evan didn't respond. He hadn't said much all day. Gregory slipped his phone into his pocket and walked behind him toward Miss Claudine's table, a small brick restaurant just off Highway 280 in Opelika, Alabama. He'd found it on a parenting blog during a break between meetings. It sounded simple, family-run, no need for reservations, exactly what he thought would feel safe. Nothing fancy, nothing corporate, not like the rest of his world. Inside, the place felt cozy but not loud. The tables had checkered cloths, mismatched chairs sat on warm wooden floors, and the air smelled like butter, sweet tea, and something slightly burnt, maybe peach cobbler. A quiet jazz trio played in the back, saxophone, keys, and upright bass, nothing flashy, nothing over the top. Gregory pulled out a chair for Evan, who hesitated. Every move the boy made seemed slow and careful, like each one took extra thought. Eventually, he sat. Gregory put a napkin in his lap, glanced at the menu, and checked his phone. 3 new emails, 1 marked urgent. He looked up. Evan hadn't touched the menu. You want to try the mac and cheese, bud? Says it won an award? Gregory asked. Evan shrugged. Or maybe the fried chicken? They say it's better than Popeyes, and I know you love Popeyes. Another shrug, eyes still down. Gregory looked around the room. No one noticed him. No whispers, no camera flashes, no investors, just regular people eating and chatting about their day. He took a breath. Maybe this was a good idea after all. Then, just as he was about to ask for water, a voice came up to their table, soft, southern, and worn in, like an old pair of sneakers. Hey there, welcome to Miss Claudine's. I'm Monica. I'll be taking care of you all tonight. She looked to be in her late 20s, hair tied back in a puff, and a tired smile that still felt genuine. Her apron had a few faint sauce stains, but she stood confidently and spoke like she wasn't in a hurry. Gregory looked up from his phone and gave her a polite smile. Evening, he said, folding the screen down. We're still deciding. Monica turned to Evan. And what about you, birthday boy? She asked, like she already knew. Evan's head lifted slightly, surprised. His face stayed calm, but he met her eyes for a second. I didn't say it was his birthday, Gregory said, a little puzzled. You didn't have to, Monica said softly. He's got that look, like he's trying to disappear, but today's too special for that. Gregory opened his mouth, trying to find words, but nothing came out. Monica didn't seem finished seeing Evan just yet. She didn't write anything down, just nodded with her hands behind her back, glancing between the two of them like she was looking for whatever was missing. Take your time, she said gently, stepping away. No rush tonight. Then she was gone, weaving through the tables like someone who'd worked there forever. Gregory watched her for a moment. How she refilled glasses without being asked, crouched to talk to a toddler, gave an old man a quick shoulder squeeze and whispered something that made him smile. She moved like she belonged there, and the place seemed to move with her. Evan still hadn't opened his menu. You okay? Gregory asked again, softer this time. The boy didn't respond. Gregory leaned closer. We don't have to stay long. We can eat quick, head home, maybe pick up that new Lego set on the way. Evan blinked slowly, then gently pushed the menu aside. I don't want Legos, he mumbled. Gregory sat back. That was new. Evan loved Legos, or at least he used to. When was the last time they'd built something together? He was about to ask when Monica came back with 2 glasses. Sweet tea, no lemon, no ice, just like the blog had mentioned. I figured this might suit you better, she said, sliding the cup in front of Evan. Gregory looked at her. Do you know us? Monica smiled, calm. Nope, just a good guesser. She turned to Evan. You like music, baby? Evan shrugged again, barely. Monica crouched beside him so she could meet his eyes directly. That sax player over there? He used to tour with B.B. King. Real smooth hands. You can hear it when he plays the high notes. There's pain in his breath and honey in his fingers. Evan tilted his head slightly toward the music. You know what I really like? Monica continued. I like when a sound hits you in the chest before you even know it's music, like it already knew you before you knew it. Gregory stared. It wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. Like music wasn't just something in the background, it was something you could dance with, argue with, or even forgive. Monica stood back up. Want me to give y'all a few more minutes? Yeah, Gregory replied quietly. Thanks. She nodded and walked off again. Gregory turned to Evan. The boy was watching the jazz trio now, really watching. His hand rested near his glass, tapping lightly. Slow, but steady. Gregory followed his gaze. The trio was deep in a smooth, wandering tune. The sax led, the keys followed, and the bass pulsed like a heartbeat. Maybe Evan wasn't just tapping for no reason. Maybe he was listening in a way Gregory never could. But just when things started to feel calm, something shifted, and it wasn't in the music. Behind the counter, Monica was refilling ketchup bottles and checking plates before they were served. Her co-workers moved around her, talking, clattering dishes, shouting orders over the sound of the grill. But Monica kept one eye on table 7, the birthday boy. He wasn't eating, he wasn't talking, just tapping his fingers like they had something to say. She'd seen it before, not the condition, but the need, not for food, for connection, for someone to see him, to hear his beat. Monica gently tapped her fingers against her hip, matching Evan's rhythm. She didn't know if he'd notice, didn't know if he needed to. But something about him felt familiar, not his face, not his silence, but the space in between. When she came back to their table, she didn't bring food, just a cloth to wipe up a bit of water Evan had spilled without realizing. Hey, sugar. You ever danced before? She asked casually, kneeling next to him again. Evan looked at her like she'd asked if he could fly. I can't dance, he said flatly. Monica shook her head. Sure you can, you just haven't met the right song yet. Gregory looked up from his phone, surprised to hear Evan respond so quickly. I have cerebral palsy, Evan added, like he was reading from a script. I can't move right. Monica leaned in a little, her eyes kind. Sweetheart, there's no wrong way to move when you're being honest about how it feels. That's what dancing is, telling the truth with your body. Evan's lips parted slightly, a tiny flicker, almost a smile. Gregory felt something tighten in his chest. He wanted to thank her, he wanted to stop her, he didn't know which. He was used to teachers, therapists, specialists, all of them careful, gentle, tiptoeing around Evan. But Monica wasn't doing that. She was walking straight through the mess, barefoot. Monica tapped her palm twice on the table, slow, clear. Can you tap that back to me? She asked. Evan hesitated. His hand hovered above the wood. Then tap, tap. Monica grinned. Look at that. You already got rhythm in those fingers. Gregory leaned forward. He used to like music, a lot, when he was little. Evan didn't say anything, but he didn't look away from Monica. She tapped out a new beat. Tap, tap, tap. Evan watched, then copied it. A little slower, a little off, but still there. Monica didn't correct him. That's it, baby. You're leading. I'm just following. Gregory swallowed hard. There was something almost holy about it. It didn't need permission. It didn't need praise. A waitress with worn-out shoes and a boy with tired limbs were building something invisible. And in that moment, Gregory realized he wasn't the richest person at that table anymore. Before he could speak, the music changed. Monica stood up with a new idea Gregory didn't see coming. The jazz trio moved into something slower, softer, like a lullaby wrapped in velvet. The The saxophone eased into a sweet, smooth melody that filled the room like warm water. Not loud, not demanding. Just there. Monica set her tray down. She turned to Evan and tilted her head toward the band. "You hear that?" she asked. "That song's asking you a question." Evan squinted. "What question?" She smiled. "It's asking if you'll answer." Gregory looked up, nervous. "He doesn't dance." Monica turned to him, calm and sure. "I didn't ask him to dance. I asked if he'd answer." Then she turned back to Evan, lowering her voice. "Can I show you something? Won't take but a second, and you don't have to move a muscle if you don't want to." Evan nodded once. Monica took a step back from the table. Just a small step, right there between the tables and the kitchen door. She started to move, not big, not flashy. Her arms swayed like soft fabric in the breeze. One foot slid forward, then back. Her shoulders rolled gently. It wasn't a performance, it was something personal. She raised one hand, palm open, and waited. Evan watched her. His hand twitched slightly on the table. Gregory leaned in. "You okay?" Evan nodded again, slower this time. Then, with shaky fingers, he lifted his hand halfway up. Monica mirrored him. They stood like that for a few seconds, Evan sitting, Monica standing, 4 feet apart, a world of difference between them, but perfectly in sync. Then Evan tapped, twice on the table, just like before. Monica tapped back, tap, tap, then added a single tap and paused. Evan waited, then tapped once. Monica swayed with it, letting that one tap guide her step, like it was the only beat that mattered. Gregory felt the whole room shift, like time had paused. People at nearby tables started to notice, but no one interrupted. They just watched. A few leaned in. Even the sax player picked up on it, weaving his notes around the rhythm Evan and Monica were making. It wasn't a dance, not in the usual way. It was a conversation. And Gregory, he wasn't part of it. He was just watching. A man with money, meetings and calendars, sitting across from a waitress in sneakers and a kid who couldn't walk straight, watching them speak without words. That's when it hit him. How many birthdays he'd missed, how many moments he'd paid for, but never earned. Evan's hand slowly dropped, but his eyes stayed on Monica. "I did it," he whispered. Monica smiled big with her whole face. "You sure did, baby. You let it. I just followed." Gregory opened his mouth to say something, anything, but he never got the chance. A loud crash came from the kitchen, sharp, sudden, plates, maybe 2. The moment shattered. Monica flinched and turned her head. One of the cooks had dropped a full tray. People shouted over the noise, nothing serious, just the sound of real life rushing back in. Evan jolted, pulled his hand into his lap, his shoulders tensed, his eyes darted around the room, scared, like he thought someone was about to yell at him. The spark was gone. Gregory saw it and leaned forward, voice gentle. Hey, it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. You're fine." Evan didn't answer. Monica turned back fast, kneeling by the table again. "Nothing to worry about, sweetheart," she said. "Just a clumsy cook. Happens all the time. You did perfect, okay?" Evan looked at her, still unsure. She reached out but didn't touch, just held her hand close to his. "You did something really brave just now." Gregory cleared his throat. "He's not used to attention." Monica nodded. "Neither am I." This time, she looked at Gregory, not like a waitress, not like Evan's dad, like a person trying to hold something together. "I'm not trying to make you all uncomfortable," she said. I saw the way he was watching the music, and I remembered what that felt like." Gregory blinked. "What felt like?" "Wanting to move," she said softly, "but not knowing if you're allowed." Gregory sat back. For the first time, someone wasn't describing Evan like a diagnosis, just like a person. Monica stood, wiping her hands on her apron. She glanced toward the trio and gave a small wave. The saxophonist nodded back, simple, quiet, like they had history. Gregory picked up his glass. "You used to dance?" Monica smiled. "Still do. Not like I used to, but yeah. I taught ballet and jazz for a bit, studied modern in Birmingham. So why are you waiting tables? Her smile dimmed just slightly. Life got expensive. My mum got sick. My little boy needed new shoes faster than I could buy them. So, here I am. Gregory looked down. He didn't know what to say, but Monica didn't sound bitter, just honest. Doesn't mean I stopped dancing, she added. Just means I had to learn how to do it while carrying plates and wiping down booths. She looked back at Evan. And sometimes, if I'm lucky, I get to teach someone new, even if it's just for 2 minutes between orders. Evan smiled. Not a big one, but it was real. Monica's order pad buzzed from her apron. She pulled it out and checked the screen. All right, y'all, I better go before someone thinks I got kidnapped by the birthday table. She turned to leave, but Gregory spoke up without thinking. Wait. She looked back. Yeah? You ever think about teaching again? She raised an eyebrow. I think about it every day. Doesn't pay the bills, though. Gregory nodded slowly. Maybe it could, if the right program existed. Something shifted in his voice, and Monica wasn't the only one who noticed. She looked at him the way you look at someone who just used the wrong key, but maybe for the right lock. Curious, unsure. What do you mean? She asked. Gregory rubbed the back of his neck. He hadn't planned to say it out loud. Not yet. Not like this, I mean. He looked at Evan. What if there was a space where someone like you could teach and someone like him could learn, without it being a charity or a checklist? Monica folded her arms, squinting. You talking about a community center? No, Gregory said. I'm talking about a studio, a real one, classes, workshops, paid staff, scholarships, for anyone who's ever been told they're not the right fit. Monica didn't answer right away. She just stared, trying to figure out if this was a joke or some rich man's guilt trip. You some kind of non-profit guy? She finally asked. Gregory almost laughed. Not even close. I design tech, mostly for hedge funds and defense contracts. Her expression didn't change. Gregory sighed. I'm not the good guy in this story, Monica. I spend more time on planes than with my kid. I missed Evan's first steps because I was at a conference in Toronto, and I still don't know what he dreams about at night. Monica stayed quiet. But I saw what you did, Gregory said. The way you looked at him. Not through him, not around him. You gave him space to lead. He leaned in. That moment? That's what I spend $500,000 a year trying to recreate, through therapy, adaptive software, consultants. And none of it works like what you just did, in 5 minutes, with your eyes and a song. Monica's jaw tightened, not out of anger, just holding the weight of his words. I've got the money, Gregory said. I don't have the vision. You do. Monica shook her head. You don't even know me. True, he said. But I know Evan, and tonight was the first time in years I saw him feel seen. They both looked at Evan, who was gently tapping the edge of his plate, in rhythm with the upright bass. Not for attention, not for show, just because it felt good, Monica spoke softly. What you're talking about, it's big, bigger than me. Gregory nodded. Then we build it with you. For the first time, Monica looked uncertain. I'm a waitress, she said, a dancer on break, a mum with rent due Tuesday. And I'm a guy who built missile tracking AI before I ever figured out how to talk to my own son, Gregory said. We both got flaws. She let out a small laugh. You serious? He slid a business card across the table. Dead serious. You don't have to decide tonight. Just think about it. We'll talk. Monica stared at the card like it might bite. She didn't pick it up, but she didn't walk away either, because something in her gut knew this wasn't a tip. It was a door. The rest of the evening unfolded in slow, gentle waves. Evan finally ordered fried okra and mac and cheese. Monica winked as she wrote it down. Gregory ordered the same. It wasn't about taste anymore. It was about presence. Monica kept circling back. Not just for drinks or plates, but to check in. She didn't hover, she didn't rush, she just made sure Evan stayed connected. And for the first time in a long while, the boy didn't vanish into the background. He stayed right there. After they finished eating, Monica returned one last time, with a surprise. A tiny scoop of vanilla ice cream with rainbow sprinkles and a crooked candle in the center. She placed it in front of Evan. "No charge," she said, before Gregory could reach for his wallet. "Just don't tell my manager, he thinks I'm a softie." Evan stared at the candle. "Want to make a wish?" she asked. Evan looked up. "I don't think mine come true." Monica leaned in. "That's because you've been wishing quiet. Say it out loud next time. Make the world listen." Gregory swallowed the lump rising in his throat. Evan closed his eyes, took a breath, and blew out the candle. Gregory didn't ask what the wish was. Some things belonged to Evan alone. When they stood to leave, Gregory handed Monica a folded bill. 100 at least. "Thank you," he said. "For everything." Monica pushed it back gently. "I didn't do anything special." "Yes, you did," he said. "You showed up. That's rare." He pressed the card into her hand again. This time she didn't resist. Then he turned to Evan, crouched down, looked his son in the eye, really looked. "Hey, how would you feel if we came back next week?" Evan tilted his head. "Why?" "Because maybe," Gregory said, "we could start something. Together. Something big. Something that matters." Evan gave the smallest, shyest nod. They stepped out into the parking lot. Quiet again, but not the same kind of quiet. Inside, Monica stood at the door, watching them through the glass. She looked down at the card. On the back, Gregory had scribbled in block letters. "You saw him. I saw you." They didn't see what was coming, not the call, not the project, not the lives that would change because of one unexpected birthday dinner. 6 months later, the building stood just outside Auburn, Alabama. No ribbon cutting, no press release. Just an open door and a wooden sign, the movement room. Inside, the walls were bare. The mirrors hadn't arrived, the floor was scuffed from deliveries. But in the middle of that room, 20 kids stood in a circle, including Evan. He wore soft shoes, a loose t-shirt with the words, "Let me lead." Monica stood at the front, barefoot, hair tied up, her voice clear, steady. "Today, you move how your body tells you to. No counts, no right way, just your way." Some kids giggled, some swayed. Evan raised his hand. "Can I start?" Monica smiled. "You already did." He stepped forward, not graceful, not perfect, but full of something bigger, ownership. Gregory stood in the back, arms crossed, silent. No investors, no applause. What he saw couldn't be measured in profit margins or tax deductions. What he saw was proof. Proof that real wealth isn't in ideas, it's in presence, in showing up, in asking questions instead of giving answers, in saying, "I see you." Later that night, after the kids had gone and the building was quiet, Gregory stood outside with Monica. "You think it's really working?" he asked. She didn't hesitate. "It's not about the moves," she said. "It's about the permission." Gregory nodded slowly, then reached into his jacket and pulled out a photo, Evan's last therapy session. In it, Evan was dancing, really dancing, not copying, not mimicking, leading, arms out, eyes focused, no fear. Monica stared at it. "I want to hang this in the studio," Gregory said. She smiled. "Only if we get a picture of you next to him." Gregory laughed. "I can't dance." That's what Evan said too. They stood there a while in the dark. The only light came from the soft glow inside the studio. And for once, they didn't feel like they had to say anything else. The moment was enough.